Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode... What episode are we on? Oh my gosh, 57! 57 of the What the Sheep podcast, where myself and Alana will be discussing and breaking down episode 8, the finale of season 1 of Exandria Unlimited. But before we get into the meat of the episode, there was one small thing that I wanted to talk about that intro cinematic. And I can't remember if we had talked about it before already, or if it's something that I just caught this time. But one of the mural things, the stained glass things, is of a gold dragon. I believe it's a gold dragon, and it seems to be hovering over a city. A coastal city, perhaps Nicodranas. Now,
okay.
we all know our running theory that Yusa is a gold dragon. Is this like a soft confirmation that Yusa is a gold dragon?
I think it's not a gold dragon. I think it's a brass dragon.
Damn it!
I think it's what's his face?
Jamansa Ord.
Jamansa Ord. I think it's Jamansa Ord in Maquette.
Dang it! No! I mean, yes. I mean, yay, Jamansa Ord, but... Oh!
Yeah.
Drat! Well, there goes my happiness for the rest of the year. But anyways, getting into this episode, the finale, this was a very enjoyable episode. Not only was it, a finale, and so everything that comes with it being a finale, but it's also just a really cool episode in general. Starting with, I think one of the biggest things that stuck out for me this episode was that it only took 8 episodes for them all to start rolling well. Matt specifically.
Wow.
But there were so many natural 20s in this encounter.
There must be something in the Critical Role studio that affects the dice for good storytelling.
Yeah.
Because that's
for real.
All his fails so far have been fantastic, leading up to a final triumphant win.
Yeah.
So many natural 20s. I want to see if Crit Role stats have...
And that's what I was saying. That's what I was saying last week. Okay, listen, I don't want to toot my own horn, but I feel like I was half right on some of the stuff that we talked about last week. So yeah, it's like last week there was a lot of I don't know if I'm good enough. There a lot of doubt, a lot of self-doubt. And obviously in this one there were so many natural 20s and so many triumphs, and it was super great. So that was a nice little redemption from last week and stuff. But the other thing, this is kind of we're going to be jumping around a lot for this one, since the whole episode was combat, so we'll be jumping around a little bit. But so Ted, we were kind of right when we theorized that Murata's gang kind of saw Ted as like a patron-esque figure to which they they draw their powers from. So we were kind of right there.
Yeah. And Ted as a whole, I'm still a bit fuzzy on some aspects.
Yeah, because now
it was left open-ended. It was kind of hinted at what Ted was truly like, but then pushed aside as that's another story for another time. But you get the sense that Ted is an entity rather than perhaps Opal's sister, and we see that in the fact that she's able to be manifested as this massive creature that just rises out of the ground through some magic. We don't know specifically what the magic Murata was doing, but we see this massive creature, this patron.
That was wild, and it was so cool how it was transforming as the fight went on.
Really cool.
Oh my gosh,
that was really cool.
Who is behind the construct, these things, creating them?
I thought Abria was making them. I'm not sure.
It probably is Abria. It probably is.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That low angle though of when it was the face, it looked so good. The way it just blended in with the base that it was on and everything, it looked amazing. It was such a cool set, such a cool. Technically a mini because it was an NPC on the map.
Yeah, pretty much.
It was awesome.
And it was cool how Murata was speaking through Ted, causing that
horrifying
voice. Yeah, that is very terrifying. Very terrifying. But I was definitely. It's probably just because campaign 2 is still fresh in our mind, in my mind, at least. But like the pseudopods that were sprouting and stuff, the leveling of the field, it just felt very Cognosa incarnate, and all that stuff during that fight.
Pretty cool.
Popping up, but yeah, it was pretty badass. I was terrified. For them being level 3 and going up against stuff like this. That is it's a little terrifying. That's a little terrifying.
Yeah.
But let's dial it back a little bit. One of my earlier notes was how, and this was true for the entirety of this series, how Abria is like the queen of the rule of cool. How she will like bend the rules, break the rules, give players like extra actions or extra things to do based on what they roll and stuff, just for the sake of like badass storytelling and for the character to feel truly powerful in that moment. There are so many times over the course of this series, but even in this episode, where like if someone got a natural 20 or they made a really cool move or something, she'd be like, all right, you get an extra action, or like, okay, this extra thing happens and stuff. Which is super cool. Super cool.
To be able to tell the story. And I enjoyed too, there was that aspect of, is this what your character really wants? Or like, what is the thing your character wants most? And finding a way to make it happen was really cool. Because, it's collaborative storytelling. And nothing hurts a narrative more than rules.
Yeah, that's true.
It's nice to see it kind of being a little more open, a little bit more functional, I guess, to tell the story that they want to tell. Yeah, which is really cool.
Definitely love seeing that. I feel like that's similar to my style. I'm all about like the rule of cool and letting things, letting the story, tell itself and all that stuff.
Yeah,
that was.
I like rules.
Awesome. yeah.
That's
they help.
Because, like,
they help.
I like the structure.
Mm-hmm.
But I still like rule of cool. It's just I'm not as good at it.
Oh yeah. And I think one of the cool things about this fight is that it felt like there were two bosses to fight here. There was Mirada, obviously being the main one, but then Lolth also had a heavily influence on this fight. It was like each character, except I think Dariax and Aurum, Lolth was taking one last effort to try to get them to put the crown on, each offering them something like, hey, I can get you out of this. There is an easy way out of this. You don't have to fight tooth and nail to try to survive here. It was looking pretty rough for them as the fight was going on. So the Lolth just added another interesting layer fight.
Yeah, I really enjoyed Dorian like taking a stand and like telling her to fuck off.
Yeah.
That was really cool. That was probably one of my favorite character moments in this episode of. Because it felt obviously Abria wanted someone to put the crown on.
Oh yeah.
But at the same time,
I wanted someone to put the crown on too.
Yeah. And it's been very heavily focused on Dorian throughout the series so far. So I thought it was really good kind of stand up for yourself moment where he told Lolth, the Spider Queen, to fuck off.
Yeah. I kind of did like happy claps to myself when he told Lolth to fuck off. Like, yes, let's go. That's awesome. But yeah, I mean, ultimately, we'll save all that stuff for the end. But we obviously know how all that turned out. But it was cool again seeing Feral Fern bust out, because it seems like Lolth had a very specific like strategy for each different character. With Dorian, it was making him feel useless and powerless and just down on himself, and that her power was going to fix all of that. But with Fern, with Fern, she was more tapping into her feral side, that darkness that's within her, and wanting to nurture that and let that bubble over and take over. So it's really cool on like Abria's part, like identifying these different character traits and different things she was going to use for these different characters to tempt them into taking the crown.
It was very cool. It was very very well characterized for Lolth, I think. Like I really liked this version of Lolth. And just how persistent she was, and how I kind of want to know what's going on with Lolth, I guess, in general, or is she just this interested in someone like wearing her crown? Because it's if you think about like the other vestiges, they're not necessarily you know, walkie-talkies to the gods or anything like that. So it's interesting that Lolth has taken such an interest in this one item, which makes me concerned for Opal in the future. But it's interesting to see how in depth she has been getting to get to these characters. She just and kind of you get the sense like she doesn't care who puts it on. Someone put it on. She needs literally her claws in someone, which is really cool.
Also terrifying now that we know.
Terrifying, yeah.
Now that we know who put it on. But there were so many just awesome moments in this episode. Obviously, one of the big ones for me was when Mirada initially leveled the playing field and like just nuked everything, and these pseudopods started sprouting everywhere. I was like, holy shit! Like, what is actually happening here? Because we had no idea at that point what she was trying to do. We knew she was trying to separate Ted from Opal, but I had no idea what this organic thing was that she was sprouting from the ground. That felt totally random. That's where I initially thought of like, is this like some Cognosa shit? Did like her and Matt like talk or something? And this is
because it was in the place where the cube was, and the cube had broken, and then she leveled it further. So I want to know more what this place was to begin with. Like, what was the was of the cube? Like, whether the constructs were sent by Murata or they were just aspects like protectors of this place.
I think they were just protectors. I think that's what it was.
Right. Yeah. And because it seemingly gave boons, which was really cool. So which then became very helpful throughout the fight.
Oh yeah. I think Ashley might have forgotten about her special power, but that's alright. The reroll thing. Yeah. Don't know if she used it, cool. But it's fine. The story was told in the best way, regardless of using those rerolls and stuff.
I think I loved Orym this fight. He's like a true battle master, just absolutely. And that comes from like Liam being a galaxy brain of what can I do? How am I gonna do? Which is it's really cool. I love battle masters, and I love the fun way that they can actually work in combat. So it was really cool seeing some of that stuff, like the jump and the the throwing a dagger down.
Oh, that was so cool.
On it.
So cool.
Really cool stuff.
And thank God they dispatched those 2 extra people fairly quickly. It seemed like they could have. Yeah, that cone of cold. That one that could have ended everything.
You rolled a 14 on 8d8.
Yeah,
like,
that is
ones
unlucky.
And twos. That's
that is very unlucky.
That sucks.
They needed that because even average damage, which is like 30 something, that would have wiped out all 3 of the people that it targeted. Yeah, that would have been it.
100%.
So thank God. Thank goodness it rolled so low, because that was nasty. Because that's is Cone of Cold. That's a 5th level spell, 4th level. I think it's 4th.
Sounds 5th.
5th, yeah. That's pretty nasty. That is very, very, very nasty.
Of cold. Oh no. Okay.
So I think we saw it a couple times in campaign 2. Obviously, the most notable time that we saw it was with Lorenzo. 5th. Yeah, that's an ouchie. That's an ouchie spell. But yeah, that would have killed. Yeah, that would have killed Dorian, because I think at this point Dorian was already unconscious.
Yep.
So that would have totally wrecked him. But I was terrified because Dariax also went down in this fight. Yeah, it's a cool spell. Cool spell.
Pretty cool spell. Yeah,
but
it's essentially. I'm trying to think how it ranks with like a White Dragon's Breath. Because it's
pretty high.
Similar.
I think like an adult Dragon's Breath is like 12d6 or something.
Yes, I'm thinking like a young white dragon. Their breath is 10d8, so it's a little bit less than a young white dragon. Holy shit!
Yeah, that's a young. What was I thinking? 12d6. I don't even know.
No.
Jeez. Man, dragons are no joke.
No,
Thank
no,
God.
absolutely not.
I always forget, but man, they're badass. I'm super excited for the new dragon book that's going to be coming out.
Oh,
The gem dragons and stuff.
Same. I'm
Super
so
excited
keen.
for that.
So keen.
That's going to be badass. I'm actually working on a campaign that I eventually hopefully want to run for the Discord server and stuff, and it's going to be very heavily dragon themed and stuff, so I might pick up that book.
So much.
Might be the one that I pick up for my D&D Beyond.
That's cool.
But anyways, yeah, lots of really cool things in this episode. And then my jaw like dropped when it was revealed that this weird organic matter was forming into Ted. Because Abria was like, and it begins to form, and you see like a face, and then she's like switched out the thing. I was like, holy shit, wait, it's forming something? She's like, everyone, say hello to Ted. I was like, oh! Yeah. Oh shit!
That was such a horrific way to introduce the character.
Yeah. Like, oh, this is what you look like. You're a giant flesh monster. Yeah.
And then that's when you start to realize, oh, okay, probably not a person. Probably. Because that's a messed up magic right there. That's
this is just the form they're taking.
Seems. Yeah. I want to know, and I'm hoping we get this in the wrap up that they're going to be doing for this campaign.
That's right, they are doing that.
I want to know about Murata. Like, what is her deal? Like, where does she have this knowledge of how to summon a patron? Why does she want to do it? Is it just for power? Is it there's some other personal connection to it?
Ted?
Why Ted? Well, yeah, because there's plenty of gods she could become a cleric of, but she's specifically looking at having Ted as a patron.
Yeah, unless again, like we were saying, there's more to Ted than we obviously know currently.
Yeah. Why she's abandoned Singhorn essentially. Yeah, I just want to know more about her. I want to kind of understand her motives for this, because she seemed fine the first time they met her. Yeah. And then she was just like, no, fuck this.
Fuck this shit.
I'm your problem now.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was cool character. Just why are you doing this?
Yeah, I had actually initially thought, because for me, I was under the impression that this was going to be the only like season with these characters, and then like the next time Exandria Unlimited came around, it was going to be like a new batch of characters. But it sounds like we may actually be seeing these characters again. So when I went to the show, I was thinking everything was going to be wrapped up more or less with this 8 episodes, and so my initial thought was like, oh, I wonder if Murata was actually supposed to be like Posca, but because they like put a hard stop to that Posca storyline, Abria had to like switch things up and then change what Posca was going to do and just put on a different character for it to make sense. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. That's what I initially thought, but now that we know that we could be seeing these characters again, Murata and Posca could, totally still be separate characters with their own motivations and stuff.
Yeah.
That's what I initially thought.
That makes a lot of sense, yeah, because it did kind of swap from having this major female antagonist to moving on from them and having another major female antagonist. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. But I thought the same too. I thought it was going to be a bunch of different DMs coming in, a bunch of different players telling stories throughout Exandria. So I think I'd like to see a different cast and DM because I feel like it'd be not impossible for these guys to go somewhere else in Exandria, but I'd like to see different areas of Exandria have specific stories told about them rather than just one party traveling to different areas, because that's a campaign really at that point. Because I'd love to see like a mini episode in like Isilra, or like a mini episode in like the Shattered Teeth, or in the Lucidian Ocean, or something like that.
Or Blightshore. I think Blightshore was another.
Blightshore is like perfect for an 8 episode arc.
Yeah.
One shot. Man. Yeah.
Oh. The Gemetti Costco origin story. One shot.
Ooh, that'd be real cool. I that's what I kind of thought too. And maybe it is how they're going to do it, but perhaps they'll sometimes come back to to...
Yeah, it would even be cool if they did different like one shots throughout history. Like, what if they did one during like Aeorian times, where they did like an Aeor
Age of
one shot back?
Arcana.
Yeah, Age of Arcana. That'd be
Mhm.
super cool too. Oh,
Yeah.
there's so much potential with Exandria Unlimited, and you know this first season definitely delivered with some really awesome stuff.
Mm.
But shifting gears again towards the episode, one of the coolest things that I think for Opal's character, I think Opal's character has seen the most change, and that's mainly due to the fact that it ended up being very Opal centric, and we kind of knew that going into it since Abria kind of hinted at that.
Yeah.
But it's interesting to see, you know, at the beginning of this series, Opal was, you know, just a super carefree, confident gal, you know, from the countryside, and how she changed to, you know, be so desperate and lost and sad in the end at what's been going on with her sister and her powers and all this confusion that's been going on, to then, you know, end up succumbing in a way to the darkness of Lulth.
Yeah.
You know, the last ditch effort to save her sister. Opal was honestly for me like the least likely one. Her and Orim. I really didn't think Opal was gonna do it.
Not a happy ending really for Opal, in a sense. Like, she's exactly where she started, but a little bit worse off with having Lulth attached.
Yeah, because not only did she not have any questions answered, but now she has, I guess, a debt to Lulth now, in a way.
She maybe has a little bit better understanding of Ted, but even then it's still not a full understanding. And I want to know if the idea for Ted being kind of this major focal point for the story came well, obviously Ted probably came after, but after Amy created the character, if Abria had an idea for this being a storyline, and then when she, you know, met with Amy and they discussed the character, they kind of linked in. Because I kind of want to know, the general kind of plot that Abria pitched, I guess, for what this story would be, because we've got a lot of different elements. Like, we've got the plateau in the first episode, we've got elements of this hidden city and of the Iron Authority, like all these things coming together, but ultimately focusing on a specific PC trait, which I think was really cool. That's cool.
Pitch. I totally agree. I was gonna say, some other big points in this in this episode. Obviously, it was terrifying having Dorian and Dariax go down, since you know, shit's deadly. Shit's deadly going against these bosses at level 3. Can get pretty ridiculous. I think the first like boss battle that the Mighty Nine had was the Devil Toad. I think they were level 3 when they did that. It was like episode like 4 or 3 or 4 or something. They fought that. This felt way more out of their league than a Devil Toad and some imps. So I was definitely terrified. But the nail in the coffin for me was when Mirada counterspelled the heal. One of the most evil things you can do as a DM, counterspelling a heal or counterspelling a resurrection or revivify. And listen, I'm here for it. Honestly, the angst and the terror of getting something like that counterspelled is pretty great. Pretty great. I don't know if I would ever have the heart to do it as a DM, but I would think about it. It would cross my mind at the very least.
Can't wait to be able to use counterspell as a DM.
No.
Like.
I'm gonna switch my monk subclass and pick one that has counterspell available to it.
Okay, do it. Have fun with that.
We'll figure a narrative way to do that. But no, it was great. And so for Dorian, or no, Dariax. Dariax getting hit. Oh yeah, Dariax. So this was another one of those rule of cool moments for me. I apologize again. I said we were going to be jumping around this episode a lot, so I apologize if it's hard to follow, but combat's kind of hard to go through chronologically because, you know, so much happens and a lot of cool different moments. But anyways, for Dariax, another rule of cool moment where I can't remember what spell he was casting, but he like totally nat 20'd it and owned it, and or Maybe it was Dorian. It was when... No, it was Dariax, because Dariax got hasted.
Interchangeable.
Yeah. Dorian, Dariax. It happened to both of them.
Mm.
But it was for Dariax, he like nat 20'd something, and he drew power from like the miasma and stuff, and became hasted for whatever he did, which was really cool. But then Dorian, it was when he cast his Thunder Wave to kill the construct, I believe it was. Where it did half damage, but when he snapped, he drew the power from the miasma, which allowed it to do full damage.
Yeah.
So it's back to that Abria. Yeah.
Did he use the miasma or did he use residuum? I thought he used like the spike.
Oh, was it the spike?
Because he mentioned like sticking it into its gem eye and like plucking it out.
Oh, maybe it was. I think that was his scimitar. Because with the residuum thing, he used that on Ted. Later. I think it was, yeah. But still, again, we touched on it a little bit, but Abria leaning into those really awesome character moments and just letting it happen, giving them extra damage, extra buffs and stuff, just to make it super flavorful and just make. And they probably needed it. They probably needed it because they were pretty out of their league here. So it was just nice having these little extra buffs and boons to go along with their standard attacks and all. So just another, really cool thing for me. What was it? the name of Ted in this form, the Apotheosister, was the name that was given to Ted once the break was over.
Very
good. Yep. But I guess we can kind of, unless there's other little character moments and stuff. Oh, little Mister going unconscious, getting knocked out. I think it was by the Cone of Cold.
Yeah,
that took Mister out. But it's okay. Mister was brought back then later on.
He's fine.
Yeah. There's no worries. There's no worries there. So Opal puts on the crown and loses some charisma while gaining dexterity. Kind of an interesting trade-off. I'm guessing it probably gets worse the longer you have it on.
Oh god, I need to find my source book.
Because losing 2 charisma as a charisma caster sucks.
Definitely.
Gaining dex is interesting. But like, what else? Obviously you get the black eyes, and Lolth probably has some semblance of influence over you, I would imagine, at the very least.
Here we go. Yeah, so charisma decreases by 2. You have advantage on initiative rolls.
Oh.
It seems like maybe it was slightly homebrewed by Abria, because I'm not saying anything about dex here. This is also like the old source book. It could have been updated for the new source book. But this is just roughly an idea of what happens with it. When you make an attack roll, you can use your reaction to gain a +5 bonus to the roll.
Oh wow!
You can make this roll up so you see the roll. That's cool. It's probably not awakened at this point, but awakened you eventually get some more cool stuff. Although it sounds pretty awakened, it's talking a lot. But
yeah, what are some of the awakened stuff?
Awakened. If you are playing in a Tal'Dorei campaign and you don't want to know this, we'll give you a thumbs up when we're finished talking about it. So awakened, you gain resistance to poison damage and gain immunity to the poison condition. Ooh. Your ability to gain a bonus to an attack roll can be used twice between rests. So that's that +5.
Okay.
Bonus thing that you can do. And then exalted, you gain immunity to poison damage in addition to the poison condition. You can also see invisible creatures and objects. Your ability to gain a bonus to attack roll can be the attack roll bonus can be used 3 times. All in all, it's not a super powerful vestige. Like, that's magic item territory.
Yeah, I guess damage immunity to poison can be decent in the condition. It's pretty niche though. Pretty niche.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem. It's not too bad, but yeah, it definitely seems pretty underpowered.
You could do that with like a belt of dwarven kind, and like one of those like alarm bells or something.
Yeah, the Lolth vestige is like it's just a combo pack. A combo pack of some other magic items. It's an all-in-one. You just gotta sell your soul to Lolth. That's it. No problem.
Yeah, that's probably the downside. If you're running an evil campaign, it'd probably be a cool thing to add.
Yeah. Just a small.
Oh yeah, like I'm just looking at some of the other stuff. Some of the other stuff's a bit cooler.
Or like other vestiges.
I'll just throw shade on Lolth, but yeah.
Oh, that's pretty.
Some of the other Betrayer God vestiges. They're pretty cool.
Oh.
But I'll talk about them later. We're finished talking about it.
Yeah, vestiges are pretty badass. I love like legendary magical items and all that stuff. They're super cool to add to a campaign. So what do we think? Obviously, this granted Opal the ability to slay Mirada once and for all. And I don't want to diminish the coolness of this episode and stuff, but I don't know if, for me, I'm truly like satisfied, because it felt like there wasn't a lot of build-up for like this climactic battle and stuff, and for Mirada to be slain in this way and for Ted to be released, since it all happened very, very fast. For me, I feel like I didn't have a whole lot of time to like process and fully appreciate the like what this meant for all of the characters, just because it was so quick. But still, again, didn't want to diminish that from how cool it was. It was still really badass, but for me, it didn't have like a huge punch, when it was all said and done.
And I think I do like that kind of theory that maybe perhaps this was meant to be Posca, because I think that might have had slightly more resonance of being an impactful moment, because it did kind of feel a little bit like Mirada just came out of nowhere and became this villain out of nowhere. They didn't really have too much of a connection to it, but I also kind of like the randomness of it. That kind of speaks a lot to just how D&D can be random and how you can just make an enemy out of nothing. But yeah, it was. I'd probably say the same. A little bit unsatisfied, I guess, in the sense that, like I was keen for them to go to the Iron Authority. I was keen for them to return to Gilmore and to, figure, like, I guess they figured out what the plateau was.
Yeah,
there was no resolution to it necessarily, I don't think.
We kind of got it, and I think the big thing here is that, at least I can't speak for you as well. I'm still in the mindset of like, okay, I totally thought this was just going to be like a season one thing. This was going to be it. This was going to be it for all of their stories and stuff. But because there may be more, if I had known that from the beginning, it may have felt less chaotic. Cause it's like, okay, there's going to be other seasons where maybe some of this is more expanded upon and stuff. But because I went into this thinking it was just going to be this one season, that was it. It was not disappointing, but it was harder to follow. It was hard to stay, following with everything that was happening, because I was like, I don't know which story arc to care about, because there's only 2 episodes left. I'm not sure what's gonna happen. But now that we know that we're probably gonna see them again, now it's like, okay, there are these other story arcs that we will probably see again, and will actually get resolved farther down the line and all that.
I think maybe one of the major criticisms that I've seen of it, and this is not as a negative criticism, it's just as an observation much as it's seen as like a very kind of similar to a home game, where it's, like you say, it's a lot more free with the rules. It's a different style of DMing. It's a different style of the players role-playing. And the function of the story is just slightly different to what we're used to with Critical Role and even some other streaming and like actual play shows. It's quite unique in its own way because it is very, very down to earth, it feels. But it gives me the sense of, if this were a game that you're playing, it would continue. Like, this would be a home game that you would keep playing every, once a week, or God, if you're lucky, once a week. But like every couple sessions. So I think it feels a bit strange for us to see only 8 episodes of it. And we've said that before because we missed something in the session 0, and it feels like there's more to happen after. Because we never got any kind of conclusion to the memory wipe thing. We never got any conclusion.
Yeah, nothing with Dark Fern and all that stuff.
So I think it's more something that is probably clearer, and I don't want to sound like a dick about it because I'm not trying not to be negative about it.
No, yeah.
But it's something that's probably more impactful to the people playing it than the people watching it, which is fine. That's
totally fine.
why people do actual plays. Like it's their game. We respect that 100%, but it makes it a little bit confusing when you're a viewer, I guess.
Yeah. No, that's totally valid. That's totally fair.
Yeah. Still a fun story. I'm so glad we got to see it.
Definitely. Yeah.
It's just we're very much on the outside of this one, where some like campaign 2 felt like we're a little bit more into the story, like alongside it. Yeah.
And then the other tricky thing is because we don't even know when season 2 of Exandria Unlimited is going to be, because if campaign 3 is going to be coming up relatively in the near future, it could be like another year, like a whole year before we get the season 2 of Exandria Unlimited again. And it'll be great to see some of these characters again, but it'll be hard for me at least to stay invested in the long-term stories of some of these characters if we're only going to see 8 episodes at a time, once a year or something like that. Doesn't mean I don't want to see all their shenanigans they get up to and all that stuff, but it'll be a bit harder from an observer's perspective to keep up with or stay invested with the different stories that could happen if we follow these same characters for future seasons.
And I think because I mentioned it at the end of last For the Sheet, which was like 2 days ago, how I didn't think these characters were going to stick together. Because I think I was assuming there was going to be a definitive kind of end to their story, but their point of view was very much, oh no, let's just keep going. We've still got more things to do, which makes sense. That makes sense. But I guess I was expecting maybe like, oh, all right, we've completed the quest and now let's go do our own thing. I did like Dorian saying, I turned to the person who I always turn to when I'm looking for direction, and it was Aurum. I was like, oh, pretty sweet.
That was sweet.
But yeah,
they still wanna hang out with each other.
I could them saying like, yeah, we've still got stuff to do. Let's keep going. I could probably have felt maybe Aurum being a little bit like, I think I'm gonna go home.
Yeah,
I'm done.
Yeah, my mom's calling me. I gotta go. My ride's here.
Yeah. Peace. Just leaves.
But there's so many different things that they can do, and obviously we got the after credit scene with Pasca again, basically saying like, hey, if those bitches come back to Iman, they're about to get fucked up. In essence that's what she said. At least that's the
as long as she doesn't touch Gilmore, we're fine.
Yeah, I hope not. I mean, they've been gone for like over a month now. Who knows what? I'm surprised Gilmore hasn't maybe like reached out to them, but it's probably fine.
You're still alive.
Yeah, I'm still good. No problem. No problems here. Except one of our people did put on the circlet and all that stuff. But that's fine. I mean, a lot of people in the Twitch chat. I did not watch it live, so I didn't get to see what Discord was talking about. No. But when Opal put on the circlet, they were like, "Oh my gosh, Opal's going to be like the big bad for campaign 3 and stuff. Going to be Lolth's champion, which would be pretty cool. Honestly, that'd be pretty interesting."
And I think it was probably because it was very much built up of this woman is in your head, she's telling you all these things. I think there was a fear that as soon as someone put the crown on, they would turn evil and be like an NPC almost. But I guess it's not that. It's just a magic item that gives you slightly evil boons and I
think it's also like, I think it would have been different if it was like the bracelet of Lolth or something, but because it's like a crown putting on your head, it feels like a mental influence type of a deal. Yeah. And
then because I liked at the end where Opal's just like, I'm gonna take it off. I'm gonna try and take it off.
Yeah.
It's like, you probably should want to take that off.
Yeah.
But it then might have made it more difficult for her to resist it in the future or things like that.
Oh yeah.
It does concern me that it ended with it still on her head. And the fact, as you say, we might not see these characters for a very long time.
Oh, jeez, yeah.
Yeah, very concerning.
Yeah,
Don't
and
like.
that's and Abria made it seem like Opal could have taken it off. It's like you can try, but it
Yeah,
feels like
yeah.
it's
I was
really
like,
dug
keep
in there.
trying.
Yeah, just
Keep trying.
rip that sucker off. You've got two healers. You got two healers here.
Yeah, it's fine. Just
It'll be all
go
right.
for it.
Or even just go back to Neardal Puck and speak with the Rash Cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, see if they
Yeah,
can get off, or even Gilmore. Like, yeah, they have so many options. We got
yeah,
so many options to try to get it off. So I'm worried, but also not super worried because they do have different things they can do to get rid of it. They're
yeah.
not super screwed over.
They'll be fine. They'll
Yeah,
figure it out. Yeah,
they'll be
yeah,
good. I'm actually curious as to why they put a hard stop on 8 episodes.
yeah.
Because I initially thought that they were able to conclude the story in 8 episodes, but it seems like they only, you know, made it to
Drop
be
it. Yeah,
8 episodes. Like that's all like the time that they had
yeah.
allotted for this show.
Mm.
Because it felt like it could have been like an extra like 2 episodes longer to wrap
Yeah.
up like Iron Authority stuff, and then maybe go back to Iman to wrap up Plateau stuff. So I'm definitely intrigued at the reasoning behind only 8 episodes, and maybe we'll get some answers during the wrap up. But
During the wrap up.
I wonder how
Yeah,
they're
no.
gonna run that.
Well, oh gosh, probably I reckon similar to how they did the campaign 2 wrap up. So around the table with the moderator, probably Marisha, I reckon, moderating again.
Oh yeah.
And then the cast and Abria sit around the table.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll just point out Paul Ramos in chat. I missed an after credit scene. Yeah, so it's just the stinger that Abria did like after the episode is what we were talking about. So it's not so much at the end of the credits. It's just pretty much straight after the episode.
Oh yeah.
You probably would have seen it if you stuck around when they faded out to black for a second. You would have seen it.
Yep. Yeah, it was basically immediately after.
Yeah.
But the other big question about surrounding Opal and Ted and stuff is their mother.
Their mother, yeah, that was cool. That was a cool little like tidbit.
Little crumb there at the end that maybe the mother is behind it all. Who'd have thought?
Well, I didn't pick up on that. I picked up on what I thought Abria was saying, like, Opal remembered her mother occasionally, like catching aspects in a mirror that weren't quite herself. So I got the sense that maybe it was a hereditary thing that they each had this kind of entity within them, or maybe it's the same entity and it's just shared between family members.
Yeah,
maybe
because it seems like Ted isn't actually was never actually like a physical sister.
No. Yeah, no, I don't think so. But then the people of Byroden spoke.
Oh yeah.
Right? Maybe she's like a ghost or something. Maybe. One of those haunted children that just hangs out. And you're like, yeah, that's my sister. And everyone's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's your sister.
Yeah, everyone's just playing
just
along.
Just go along with it.
Yeah.
She's the town crazy lady.
Ted had a bed. Yeah, maybe Ted was a manifestation of her. Oh, there's so many weird ways you can play that.
Oh man. I hope all of the questions in the wrap up are just about Ted.
I don't think we're going to get answers. I think that's
probably not.
It's going to be the goddamn moon all over again when we get no answers.
Yeah, because wait, if we're going to see these characters again, I wonder how the wrap up's going to be. There's not really many things that can be answered, right?
Yeah, because if it's like, character stuff, like what's the deal with Dorian's family?
Yeah, it's like, can't say. It might come up.
Yeah. Oh god, that's going to frustrate me if that's the answer.
No. I mean, it might be.
Amanda.
Ted is the moon.
We are Ted.
We are the cause of all of this. Oh no.
It's evolving. It's growing. The theory maintains and gathers speed. Yeah.
The family of demigods, Erica says. Maybe. Or maybe they all worshipped the same patron or something, and it was channeled through Ted, maybe.
Because it was Theodora, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Theodora was the name.
I wish we had gotten more, because last week I sort of ended the podcast with like, I'm excited for next episode. We're gonna get so many answers from Mirada and stuff, and it's gonna be great. Because Opal's gonna be like, "Yo, why do you want Ted so badly?" And Mirada was gonna explain why, but
these 5 reasons.
Yep. Well, we didn't get it. We didn't get the Mirada Ted PowerPoint, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But it's fine.
That's fine.
It's fine. It's fine. All we need to know.
We're lucky enough to be asking these questions.
Yeah, exactly.
But
exactly.
I still want answers.
I still want
answers.
But you know what? It also could just be one of those things where it's like it's left open for everyone to create their own like headcanons. For whatever all these little loose thing is. Creative interpretation is.
I hate endings like that. I think it's whatever you wanted it to be. It's like, no, tell me.
Tell me. I need to know the canon, real outcome of all of this stuff.
Nothing I come up with would be as cool as what it possibly could have been.
Yeah. But I'll stick with hashtag We Are the Moon. Oh yeah. And also we talked about Cozy Matt. We need to talk about Cozy Dorian Matt. I love how Abria set that up when it like faded back to the live game, and Abria was like, "Matt, I'm so glad that you did that last segment in full Dorian costume, because apparently he hadn't recorded it yet, and so then he had to cosplay as Dorian for that last little."
None of them were recorded. That was the whole deal of fucking with Matt. Of like, she would suggest something, then he'd have to do it.
Oh yeah, I've skipped past some of the other ones, but was it that like a similar gag for the other ones? Okay.
Every episode, it was like, it started pretty simple. Like I think with the glitter beard, there was then the full makeup and the stiletto nails and.
Gotcha.
I don't remember what some of the other ones were, but this was like the crowning achievement of, hey, you're gonna cosplay
full Dorian Stormcast. That's awesome. I love that, and I am excited for the EXE wrap up next week. But again, like we were saying before, I don't know what can be asked or answered if we see these characters again.
Yeah. I guess maybe clarification of things that have already happened. I want to know about Session 0. I just want answers for Session 0, and I worry they might not give it, because that seems like Session 0 is always quite a personal. Just for the players, it's like a moment they have that's not shared. But there's so many answers in Session 0 that I feel like we need some answers here. Please.
I could see questions around Posca, maybe like the different shipments, like the residuum shipments and stuff.
Yeah.
Or like the residuum spikes that Mirada was using to like siphon power. Maybe some Thera Rai stuff.
That leads into the idea, because I really like your theory that perhaps Mirada was meant to be Posca the entire time. Because she already had all this residuum. It's like, it makes it seem like residuum is just abundant in Tal'Dorei if all these people have it. So I kind of like the idea of, perhaps it was Posca because she'd already had a residuum and could have caught up spikes.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see if Abria even reveals that. Or if it is true, if for whatever reason it is true that Mirada or Posca was meant to be Mirada, if that's confirmed or not. That's just the impression I got though. But the maps, Froggy Strap, the battle maps for this series were so freaking cool, so good, especially those last few. Feywild one, obviously the cube, the Ted one. Oh my gosh, so cool, so cool. I've been loving it, and it seems like the production quality is going to be increasing. I think we can take a little bit of time to talk about the announcement, the Critical Role announcement from Twitter. There's a lot of exciting stuff. That's what I woke up to, because usually my morning routine this summer has been wake up, lay in bed for like an hour, looking through like Twitter and Discord and all that stuff. And one of the first things that I woke up to and saw was that Critical Role announcement that they had posted on Twitter. And it's exciting, y'all. exciting.
Yeah, lot of stuff coming up. It's almost like a mini state of the role that they've given us in this post, because there's so much stuff being mentioned. So we've got continuation of Everything is Content. We're going to get a part 3 of the Blackwood series, which is really fun, with Liam and Laura. We've got another Elder Scrolls Online one-shot, which I think they said was being DM'd by Marisha. Which the last one... Wait, was the last one DM'd? No, the last one was DM'd by Matt, wasn't it?
Yes, I believe it was.
So with Marisha, we've got the Exandria Unlimited wrap-up. So let's look at the timings here. So Everything is Content is this coming Tuesday. The Elder Scrolls one-shot is next Thursday.
Gotcha. Okay, not the wrap-up. Yeah.
The Exandria Unlimited wrap-up is the following Thursday, so the 26th. And then... Yeah, and then we've just got things coming in September, early October. So we've got the Ashley Johnson one-shot.
Hey, finally!
It's going to be super fun. I cannot wait.
Yeah, I'm super excited for that one.
It says here, though, which I'm concerned about, it says backers keep an eye out for a more official announcement. It's not just going to be for backers, surely. Like,
I don't think so. Because the Mighty 9 Xbox Machina was also a milestone reward.
Cool. I didn't think they would limit it just to backers, because that would... I started watching the show after the campaign, guys. Come on. We've got some Exandria Unlimited Edition narrative telephones, time 2. Some more Invite Vibes. Another Elder Scrolls Online one-shot, who we don't know who would be DMing on that one. And then a big Campaign 3 announcement.
Ooh, that's what I'm excited for.
Announcement. A lot, which I think would be the animated series.
It has to be.
Yeah.
Because they just released the final episode of their Crew and A the other day.
Yeah.
So it's got to be coming up soon.
It's got to be that.
It has to be.
But we did get a rough idea that we would see a mini update or some more information of Campaign 3 coming, they said, early October. Because they are building a new set and a new stage for it.
Yeah.
Which is really exciting. They're doing well.
I know, that's so cool. Because I mean, I thought their previous set was awesome. But I guess it was probably more like improvised set since they had to work fast through COVID and stuff. But now that they've had like a longer break, they could actually like build like a proper set that can accommodate different things that come up.
I agree with Erica in chat. I want them back at the table so bad.
Me too. Me too.
That's all I want. I think to an extent, they enjoyed having their own desks because they just had more space. But there is just something so special about them being together at the table. The characterizations are so much stronger. The way they can actually interact physically with each other, being able to turn and look to each other, and then I guess also having the map immediately in front of them. It's just so lovely. Like, I don't know. I could see them going either way.
And a lot of character dynamics are created based on where they're sitting next to each other and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, we had the Empire kids with Liam and Marisha sitting next to each other. Obviously, the first mate and captain relationship of Ford and Marisha. Not the best detective agency with, you know,
exactly.
Not
the
and
chaos.
Laura.
Laura.
Yeah.
And Garth McMurray knocks it on the head, and Marisha hitting Liam. Like,
Yep.
We missed out on like that. 40 episodes of
Marisha abusing Liam. I know. We need it back. All of them hugging. Yep.
Oh, the hugs.
We need it all. We need it all back. But scrolling back a little bit to the Ashley Johnson one shot. I believe it was Erica that was saying how she hopes that the Ashley Johnson one shot is all of them acting as puppies. Or no, Amanda. Sorry, it was Amanda. Amanda Goodwin that said, hope Ashley's one shot is dog related, like there's just a bunch of puppies everywhere and everyone gets to pet them. Yeah. That's
amazing.
I could see that.
That'd be really cool, like a familial one shot or something like that.
Oh my god, yes. Yeah, weren't we were talking about like a new like a honey heist where with like Sprinkle 100%. And all that stuff. Oh my god.
All the animals from Campaign 2. Absolutely. Yes. You know, like probably 40% of the comments I get on my Sprinkle video are a new honey heist with Sprinkle.
Yes.
I've thought of making a video just of the comments on that video and like send it to Marisha. Like,
yeah, look at how much the people want it. Yeah, you probably could. That's actually a good idea. I wonder if they've thought about it. They should think about it because the people want that. They want the Sprinkle honey heist. But I guess it's kind of tricky to do it now since Sprinkle is our tag-in. That kind of takes away the...
I think it makes more sense. I think it would be him awakening all the other animals.
Yep, all the other, just an army of little critters. Yep,
yeah, and then he takes them off to Taldore to meet up with Trinket. Because I love that as Trinket. And want him back. Although I do really like the original Honey Heist cast. Like Teddy and... the other ones.
Was it like Tova's Honeys or something? I can't remember.
Tova's Honeys was the third one.
Oh, okay.
With the all-female cast.
Ah, that's what it was, right? Yeah.
But it was like Liam and Talison's characters were brothers. They were like I can't remember their names. Oh no.
It's been so long since I've seen
like
those.
Waffle and Cookie. and Liam Las Vegas. Like, how can we forget having Brian in a one shot? Like, it's fantastic.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, that'd be.
Well, I'm so excited. I can't wait for the Ashley Johnson one shot and all of this, the campaign 3 announcement and stuff. But because it's coming early October, I guess that
the date announcement will come early October.
Yeah, the announcement. Yeah. So I guess that probably means we're looking at like mid to late November or even maybe a December start date. They may even just wait because then that's the holiday season.
January.
Yeah, so they could just pick it back up in January. Yeah.
Oh.
I know, it's so long. But then I wonder if they'll have anything to sort of fill the space. They could fill the space with the animated series. That could be what the big announcement is, and that's what they fill it with. And that's kind of what I had theorized back many What the Sheep podcast episodes ago when we were thinking of like when different release dates were going to be. And I think it is smart marketing wise to not have campaign 3 and the animated series come out around the same time, because then it's like splitting the hype up too much, I think. So I think it would, I mean, I know nothing about marketing. I don't have a degree in marketing, so take this with a grain of salt and stuff, but it does make sense if they postpone campaign 3 release date until next year and instead release the animated series in the time that campaign 3 could have been released. I think that's probably the smart. It hurts, but I think that's probably the smartest thing to do.
But yeah, it makes sense because they can finish the animated series and garner like a new bunch of people for the fan base and say, okay, well, great, now you can start a new story with us.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really good point. Critters would watch them both. That's true. That is true.
How many episodes do we have for the first series? Is it 12?
I think it's 12. I think it was originally 10, but then they reached a goal where then it was 12.
If we're thinking of how they release, generally Amazon Prime, I'm thinking of like how they've released shows in the past. They sometimes do like a double episode release and then weekly release.
Yeah.
So if we're thinking, it could be like episodes 1 and 2, and then we have
a weekly
10 episodes.
Weekly release, yeah.
It could be like an 11-week release schedule.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. But then if it's coming out near Christmas or Thanksgiving, oftentimes there's a break for shows coming out.
Yeah.
During those times. Yeah. Or is it 10? Don't we always saying 10?
Is it 10? Oh, maybe it is. It's one of those 10, 12. Numbers
10, 12.
Oh, it was originally 8 and then Amazon added 2. Okay, I thought it was 10 and then 12. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
That makes sense. But then we're going to be getting a season 2. A season 2 at some point, so.
Yeah.
Definitely super excited for that. Halloween special one-shot, Chutney's Revenge. Ooh.
Yeah. I didn't see that initial comment. I just saw Raul in the comments just saying, Chutney! Really
just randomly, yeah. Unprompted Chutney calls. That's definitely one of the best moments of all of their material.
I love some more like Call of Cthulhu.
Oh, yes.
Because that was so much fun. Like, Ashley Birch, get her back.
Yeah.
What else was in that one?
Ashley Birch has been killing it in the VA scene recently. Like, it's not even just recently, you know, over the past, you know, several years she's been killing it, but she's had a lot of good stuff going on.
Yeah. No.
More Undeadwood would be cool. Seeing some of those characters again. Seeing Brian take the mantle of DM again. Huh?
I haven't watched Undeadwood yet.
You haven't?
I watched all of Deadwood first. And
yeah.
Like, I kind of got a bit strung out on the Western thing, so I took a break, and then I forgot. So I might do that now.
It's good. It's good. It's real good. And it's only 2-hour episodes, roughly. So
good.
yeah, 2, 4, 6. Wait, 2, 4, 6. Okay, 8 hours to watch the whole thing. I had to do math.
But I'd probably have to rewatch it because it was a long time ago.
Oh yeah. No, it was good. It was good. But anyways, I guess shifting the focus back to Exandria Unlimited, how do we? What are our overall feelings about the first season? I definitely really enjoyed it. Definitely have some criticisms. Hard to follow, but and again, like, none of this is meant to be in like a negative light. And at the end of the day, it is their game. I did still enjoy it, but I think it is also fair to have reasonable critiques on different things that happened and stuff. Very chaotic, but again, as you were sort of saying, Alana, it felt very much like a home game, where it was probably way more enjoyable for them to actually play it than for it to be observed, which is again 100% totally fine because it's their game. We are just given the privilege to watch it, and I totally respect and understand that. But overall, I really did enjoy the chaos. I loved all the characters.
I think the cast and the characters were the best part.
Yeah.
I loved, because I knew nothing of Robbie before this.
Yeah. Not so much either.
And now, like, I want him to be on the main cast forever. Like, he was so good. I knew Amy from She-Ra and and just from Twitter, because she's excellent on Twitter. Yeah, and they were both so fantastic. And Surprise and Charlie in the middle of it as well.
Oh,
like,
so
I've never
good.
not love it.
So good.
In anything she does. No, so I love the cast, and the characters were just a lot of fun. They were maybe a bit too chaotic for the story that Abria was telling in some parts, because it was quite a serious story.
Yeah.
And then you got these goofballs absolutely just, like clodhopping the way through it.
Well, like we had kind of been saying a little bit like off stream and stuff. It felt, or maybe we said it on stream too, but it felt like a very like unabridged or like abridged, like a parody almost, where it's like these wild zany characters are put into a very serious setting and they're just let loose, running rampant.
I want to see this party do like Ravenloft. Like, that would be hilarious. Just like a super serious, dark campaign with these absolute goofballs.
Yes,
that'd be pretty fun.
I am here for that. But I mean, overall, I really don't have like any like negative things about it. Just obviously things that it was just confusing and hard to follow at points. But Froggy Stripe says felt like an origin story, and I loved it. That's actually a pretty interesting way to look at it. Like, this whole like series was like a session 0. Like, season 0 was this series right here, where it was just
pretty eventful session 0.
Yeah. I would say so. But what about you? What are your overall feelings about the series?
Same sort of thing. Like, I was definitely a bit lost sometimes on the plot, and it was strange because it was a little bit open-ended, but there was also quite a bit of railroading, which, please don't take it as a negative. I railroad all the time. It's like a perfectly legitimate.
Hey, sometimes you got to use those neon signs to guide your players.
Yeah. But it did feel like a bit of a mishmash of those two styles. I think probably my favorite parts were in the early episodes when they were in the city. I like that a lot. Because there was a little bit more agency, I guess, for them to decide what to do. Whereas once they're on the road, it was very much you've got a path to follow. But yeah, no, like I said, I love the characters. I think that was my favorite part. Them having moments to talk, again, always my favorite part is the moments before the long rest where they can have conversations.
The night watches,
Yeah, it's always the best. Some really cool NPCs, which I thought was really well done, like some what was it? The Loxodon was really cool.
Yeah. Thrash cool, yeah.
Thrash cool. Yeah, just getting to see more elements of Tal'Dorei was nice. I love Tal'Dorei. Tal'Dorei is like, it feels like Tal'Dorei is like our home base, and Wildmount is the holiday home a little bit sometimes.
Yeah.
So it's nice to go back and see some of these places.
Yeah, it did feel very homey being back in Iman and like seeing Gilmore again.
Yeah,
that stuff. Yeah, totally agree with that. Totally. But yeah, I'm super excited to see what comes next for Exandria Unlimited, because as we were saying earlier in this stream, like the potential for this series is just unlimited. As the title suggests, Exandria Unlimited. There are unlimited possibilities that they can do with this show, and I'm excited for any of them. Really. Yeah, definitely. Do we have any other closing thoughts, feelings, emotions about the finale? Any of the announcements that were made?
I'm keen. Campaign 3. I'm keen to. I mean, I had it a bit with Exandria Unlimited, but not so much because, especially like our schedule was a little bit off with watching it as well. But I do like the consistency of Campaign 3, where it's like, okay, this is what I'm doing with my Friday nights. I'm going in and I'm watching Critical Role. I'm excited for that, to get back in and to have this long form engagement with characters and storyline. So I'm just really keen for Campaign 3, even though I think it's probably not going to be for quite a while.
Yeah, I'm starting to feel that way too, sadly.
Excited to see what they have for it though, and excited to predict a lot of things.
I know. And speaking of predictions, Alana, you'd probably do a better job at explaining it to me, but you want to tell the folks at home what kind of a competition we've got going on?
Yeah, so hey guys, if you haven't seen it already, and I'm hoping some of you have seen it already because there's a lot of responses so far, you should check out our Campaign 3 guessing competition. We have one for the Discord, which you can find in the announcement page on the Discord. If you are a member of our Discord, please go check it out. Or if you're not, I'm putting the link in chat now. I don't know if it's actually going to work as a link. There it is. You can go to our Twitter and sign up for our guessing competition. It's a chance for you to have a crack at what you think each player's character's race and class will be. It's just a little bit of fun.
Yeah.
There is a prize.
Have
that. It's the results so far have been wild. It's so funny seeing like the answers for, say, Laura and Ashley, for example. There's a very clear race and class that people are not the majority, definitely not the majority, but like it shows you in a pie graph, and there's a big section for each of them where it's like a lot of people think they're going to be this. You're like, oh, that's interesting. That's like a common thread. But then you look at like Sam and Taliesin, and it's just a rainbow. Like it's so
no consistency, nothing.
Yeah, no consistency whatsoever. It's really cool. I'm gonna, once we finish the competition, the winners have been announced, everything. I'm gonna do like an infographic of breaking down the results. To show kind of like what people thought. But it's a lot of fun to look at so far, and it's a lot of fun to do. So you should definitely go do it.
Yeah. So check it out. It's gonna be super fun to reveal it all. But yeah, I mean, I guess with all that being said, we can finish off season 1 of Exandria Unlimited. Took this summer went by so fast. Like my school year starts on Monday. Like the summer's already over for me. It's done. It's time to get back into the swing of things. So I'm definitely thankful that we had Exandria Unlimited to guide us through these past couple of months, and it's been awesome. It's been a journey getting to know these characters, getting to know this story. It's always a pleasure being able to talk about all of this stuff with all of you, and obviously with Campaign 3 on the horizon, it's going to be even crazier. I'm super excited to get to know a whole new cast of characters in Campaign 3 and see how they all mingle and stuff together. So, yeah, it's gonna be good. But yeah, that's gonna do it for us here. As always, thank you all so much for joining us on this journey of Exandria Unlimited. Thank you to everyone who participated and hung out with us in chat, or just lurked, vibed, just listened to us on a second monitor, or in the background, whatever it is. Thank you so much for being here and supporting us, and thank you to everyone who's going to be watching this on YouTube or Spotify or wherever else this podcast may find itself on the internet. As always, don't forget to love each other, spread the love to everyone you meet, everyone you see, but also, don't forget to love yourself. That is the most important thing you can do, so be sure you're taking care of yourself, drink some water, eat some food, get plenty of rest. You deserve it, and I'm happy that you're here with us. So, hope you all have an absolutely wonderful rest of your morning, day, evening, wherever you may be on this glorious earth, and we'll see you all very soon. Bye, everyone.
Bye.